like when Jake does it, actually. Feels like you're dying a little bit every time you do it. No,
When did it happen?
right now.
Welcome.
baby.
Another team profile and projection. We're in person. We're at the owner's suite in the warehouse, repping our gear, Trev. Whatever, you guys don't care. You're here for the Blue Jays. Jake, what did the Blue Jays do?
Oh, don't you know they added Chris Bassett,
What
one of
about
my
SeatGeek?
favorite signings of the offseason. SeatGeek, you should go there.
Preseason, what is it?
John Boy preseason.
Yep.
John Boy preseason.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, after
So
that.
easy.
Because I was going to talk about who they added, because they added Chris Bassett, one of my favorite free agent signings this offseason, 3 years, $63 million. Kevin Kiermaier,
Oh, yeah.
his first team after Yampa. He's with the Jays. Brandon Belt, how are your veteran lefties? Chad Green, the Goose, our guy.
Yeah.
He's rehabbing, but he could be an impact piece down the stretch. The
Yes,
big
yes.
Dalton Varsho trade, my short king. How about it? Done catching, put him in the outfield, let him work. Eric Swanson, that's fun in the back. In the back end of the bullpen. And there's some minor league guys there. Rob Brantley, Talkin Yanks celebrity. They lost guys, though. I mentioned those trades. Teoscar Hernandez and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Those guys have kind of been mainstays in their lineup for a little while now. And super prospect Gabriel Moreno to my Snakes.
Game-o.
Couple other bodies. Ross Stripling, who had a really nice year for them. Jim's close friend.
Chicken strips.
Raymond Tapia is out of there. JBJ, Julian Merwiller.
Oh, yeah.
So, parts in, parts out. Sergio Romo still unsigned as we record this. So don't hold that against us.
Is that on your notes?
Trev, end
It
of the
is.
day, what's that Lizzie lineup look like?
I don't even have to tell you guys that I'm a looking and I'm a liking because I think everyone here knows this lineup can do it and they've added to it. How about that
That's
there?
awful.
We're going to have George Springer probably at the top there. He'll be in right field most of the time. Connecticut boy, hard-hitting New Britain, all that stuff. Bo Bichette, we all know about him. You know what, man? That guy, I think he's one of the more talented players in all the big leagues, and I don't think he gets credit for it. So there's me giving you credit for it, Bo. Vladdy Jr. hurt right now. We think he's okay. James, did he get married?
You got married, yeah.
Okay. Alejandro Kirk, never seen him, and Jake or Dalton Varsho in the same room. Matt Chapman, walk here for him. Expect big things. Brandon Belt comes over. He'll be DH, maybe first base. We'll see what's going on with that. Whit Merrifield is going to be fighting for playing time. Outfield, infield. Kevin Kiermaier, who came over, probably in center field. On the bench, it's deep. Maybe one of the deeper benches in all of baseball. We got Kevin Biggio, Santiago Espinal, but I think he'll be at second base a lot this year. And then Danny Nukes, Danny Jansen, another one behind the plate. And then Nathan Lukes, who is not in my book. He's an outfielder. But the point is, they have a great lineup. They have
Luke's as a
solid-
last name is awful.
Okay, I knew you were going to say something about the two names.
L-U-K-E-S as a last
Yeah.
name is awful. I've never even seen that before.
Yeah, but I think he hits Nukes.
That's great, but
Luke's hits Nukes.
you called Danny Jansen Danny Nukes. So
That's
it's
because I
still-
saw
yeah,
Luke's, and then I was
yeah.
I like that. I was going to go the rhyme again because I've been
Yeah.
doing it. But I like the lineup. It's deep. They have depth. They have prospects on the way. We'll talk about. But James, bring me through that rotation, bro.
Rotation's pretty good. You got Alec Manoah. He's feisty. He's kind of a troll,
Love him.
and I like his presence and what he does on the mound, except when he picks fights, just too much. Kevin Gossman, really like the Goss man when he's rolling. I like his style of pitching. Chris Bassett, man of many pitches. Jake likes him. Jose Barrios, Trev's ace, slots in at the number 4 spot. And Yusei Kikuchi. It might be their 5th. I think they got a lot of different options. You got Ryu, who's rehabbing and coming back. I think Ryu lost like 25 pounds and is a new man. And Kikuchi, I believe, has a beard right now.
Oh,
And I can't really picture that. And a new windup. So I'm interested to see what that's all about. But that's their rotation. In the bullpen, they got Jordan Romano, Eric Swanson, Yimi Garcia. That's what my coworkers at Domino's used to call me. Yimi.
I like that.
Shout out Oakman from Cairo.
Thanks, Oakmon.
Mitch White, who I always call Mika White, even though that's not his name.
Nice.
But I always say it, and people are like, why are you calling him that? He's there. Anthony Bass, Tim Maiza, Adam Simber, and gray-haired Trevor Richards.
Yeah. Kind of an icon in your community.
I like, yeah. Yeah, he's good.
I didn't know you were tight with the Egyptians.
Yep.
Me and you both.
I had a
love that.
masseuse from Egypt recently.
Love that.
I asked him where he was from, and I was like, God damn it, he's going to spin this on me and say guess, and I'm going to be, my ignorance is going to shine through. I don't know an Egyptian accent.
It's like it's Arabic.
It's a big year for the Blue Jays.
It is. I'll start off, Jake. I love what they did this offseason.
Well, I kind of started off.
All the problems that they had, they have identified, and they needed to change up their core of personality in the clubhouse. And Bo Bichette had a whole article like talking all about this, saying like, we were a little immature. Like we were young. We have two full seasons of our young demo, our young group playing together, and we have definitely matured and learned. He spun it really well, but he was like, you got to lose together before you win together. And we definitely learned the difference of like coming to the ballpark to play and be focused every day. And that's our goal this year as a young group, is to overcome that. Because that's also like to the public. Yeah, they were definitely a little like, you guys think you guys think this is going to be way easier than it actually is what from the outside it felt like. They were the king of the quotes. Number one trash talkers, but their quotes this spring have been like, yeah, we got to reel it in. And then they brought in a whole new kind of personality flow they get KK, who stole all their secrets that one time. Remember that?
Oh, he did.
Remember?
They tucked it in the back
That's
pocket.
why they had to sign him.
Yeah, he's going to be rapping after post games.
We don't know that for sure.
Okay.
We don't know if he's bringing that over.
Bar show, all of that. I think the jacket's out. I think they definitely had a plan actually on the field, not dynamic, with getting good defense, because they were awful in the outfield last year, so much so they had the most 4-man outfield shifts out of any team in baseball. Jarringly, one of the only teams that really did it as much as they did, to go say, hey, our outfielders are so bad, let's go for 4 back there. They're not going to have to do that now. So I do like the moves they made this offseason. That they addressed some of the stuff that was public and also maybe a little sneaky under the radar.
It's interesting you talk about like that young team and that mentality, because as a young player you get to the big leagues and now what they tell you is, hey, like let's just play loose, like just go play the game, and that is all fun and games for a while, but then you start to understand the business side of it and really having to show up, and it's work first and then have fun, play the game after that. You really have to have that mentality. So bringing these veterans in, like you said, Chris Bassett, I know personally as well, played with him. He's going to be a guy that's kind of locks up that clubhouse. There's a really nice, that rotation there, I think, is going to be a big voice in that clubhouse. Obviously, we have some of the younger guys on the position side, but some of those guys I think are going to take the leadership role. KK definitely will be one of those guys. And if we see like a determined, hardworking Blue Jays team day in and day out this year, they have the potential to be very, very scary in the AL East.
Yeah, I think it's funny. They made moves, the changes you guys just talked about, and I think there is definitely some defensive issues addressed. Like Jimmy mentioned, the bullpen, man, this is the best Toronto bullpen I remember seeing. I remember on Talking Baseball, at one point their bullpen kind of started getting legs, but there kind of weren't scary dudes out there. If Eric Swanson does what he did last year, he's a guy for them out there. Romano's locked down the closer role the past few years, and he's he's everything you want in your closer. He's a little weird. He grew up an actual Blue Jays fan. They have a lot of guys that can pitch you an 8th inning. Bass, Garcia, Meza, Simber, if Chad Green joins that. So I think their pitching depth is at a really good spot. Nate Pearson, who was lights out for Licey this winter and is embracing the relief role. All of that being said, I think it comes back to the dudes, right? I think it comes back to Vlad. And are you MVP, Vlad, or are you what you did last year? Bichette, it's nice to say all that. Some of his defensive misplays at short were some of the come on, man. He was year 3 at that point. Yeah. So I love the quotes, and I love that they're acknowledging it, because kind of the past couple of years they didn't. They're like, we're the new big bad wolf. Yeah. They got a little bit of humble pie in the playoffs. And I'm interested to see what it is with Bichette, because when we do our, I think you've said before, is Bichette underrated? Kinda.
Look at his offensive numbers, dude.
For a young shortstop, it's silly. So I think it comes back to those guys. And yeah, those guys have a chance to, be top 5 MVP type guys.
Well, I look at the lineup. I'm like, where are all these guys going to play? They almost have too many guys for these spots. You have Kirk, you have Jansen. What's the split going to be like there? Obviously, they're going to split time because that's what catchers do anyway. But are you going to have them at DH? Then when you have him at DH, what are you going to do with Brandon Belt at first base and the second base battle they're going to have? There's a lot of spots here Are they going to mix and match throughout the year and just kind of do that, like platoon or ride the hot hand? I'm very curious because when you do have a lineup like they have and the depth pieces on the bench, like you got to feed all the dudes. You got to give them
good
at-bats.
defensively?
I think he is. I don't know what the numbers say, but in my
Vladdy's
head,
not.
in my head, I see
Vladdy
him
won the
very
Gold
good.
Glove at first last year.
He put a lot of work in.
But I hate the Gold Glove. That doesn't match the eye test at all. He's got the worst footwork I've ever seen.
Have you seen? I mean, I don't know the numbers. We got to look him up.
I'd imagine Belt's going to get his fair share of days at first and Vladdy DH.
We'll see. I mean, the other thing that
He won the Gold Glove last year.
Belt is turning 35 soon. And by the way, he's flexing one of the best. He's flexing one of the best veteran flexes this spring training. Belt's not playing until the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
He came to camp.
the fuck did Vladdy win the Gold Glove?
He came to camp and he was just like, "Oh, I'm good. Like I'll be here, but I'm not playing until the 2 weeks leading up to the season."
That's pretty show.
That's a pretty good veteran
pretty show,
flex.
Brandon.
That's a pretty good veteran flex.
Is he gonna bring that hat? Remember that hat, like the sailor's hat he would wear?
Man, him and Kiermaier.
I kinda
Guys
like
that put in a lot of innings for Tampa and San Francisco are now starting it off for the Blue Jays. And hey, Brandon Belt, instead of that big wall out in right field, they're moving in the fences in Toronto a little bit. We might see some big homer numbers from the boys.
Yeah, they got affected big time by the humidor, the ball there. A lot of places, we talked about that before on the show. The humidor is putting a hurting on the slug. But that's not really where this team struggled last year, except if you were the relief pitchers. They gave a lot of homers last year. I believe they're 26th in baseball in that category.
Believe that?
That's something you got to change. You mentioned the bullpen there. If all, like when you're looking at rosters like this, and I know I'm going to say this a lot as we get towards the top teams, but like everything looks pretty damn good. I know my guy Jose Barrios has got to go. Decent 2021 with them, bad 2022. He's got blonde hair now, so I'm kind of like believing in it. He's feeling himself. Old Jose Barrios never would have had blonde hair, but he's feeling himself a little bit. How many times am I going to say this is his year? I'm going to say it again this time. Let's go, Jose.
I think you might say.
Yeah, but the roster is very nice.
Sure.
So you got to just stay healthy, and you got to go do it during the season. But you have all the pieces.
Have all the pieces. Stay focused and like go attack every single game, and they should be a pretty dominant team. That's why like Bo Bichette's quotes are saying the same thing that I would have said if he hadn't said that. Is like you guys just you have to like prove that you can be good consistently through a year. And I agree with Bo Bichette. I had his quotes up. I got off them.
Are you now on Vladdy's defensive stats?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm sorry. I don't care about Gold Gloves, so I don't like track him, but kind of why? I mean, unless he was just bad versus the Yankees. He stretches as the ball comes. And
The receiving, that's definitely, you notice that instantly. I guess fielding and throwing.
I don't know. And throwing. He does a different style of stretch for a ball than I've ever seen. Like, remember, he stretches before they throw it, so if it's out of his way,
he was
can't get to it.
anticipating.
Where most first basemen, their foot comes out, whatever. Sorry. I wasn't going into this trying to hate on his first base skills.
So I think as we get into these better teams, you have to do a little bit of what are the concerns, because we could roster bait about this team all day. I think for me, there's three big things. It's the lefties that came over. My guy Dalton Varsho, he kind of has his breakout year last year. I think he had like a 109 OPS plus, which again, that's good. That's 9% better than league average. He doesn't have to worry about catching anymore. He is coming over to a new team, a new league, a new division, so there could be some growing pains there. And he's supposed to be kind of the lefty bat that was to break up their righty syndrome. Brandon Belt will be in the mix, and let's see what he's got. But say if Varsho takes a little bit to figure out the AL East and maybe, Belt, same, I guess, then you're still a very righty-laden team that gives you potentially a matchup problem. So I think that's one thing for me. Jim, you mentioned it. A couple of their pitchers were some of the bigger shift guys. And, I mean, like Trev said with Barrios in general, I mean, where are we at, man? This guy got paid by them, and he has the talent. But he got rocked last year. And Kikuchi, what's he going to be for them? So I guess for me, it's are the lefties going to contribute to make it a balanced team? Because right now they still have the top four hitters as righties, and then it's my guy Varsho jumping over. And it's the back end of that rotation. If Barrios and Kikuchi go, holy shit. If they don't, that becomes kind of the clear weak point of this team.
The shift stuff is interesting. Like, Alek Manoah was one of the top 5 pitchers who benefited from the lefty shift of line drives and hard ground balls being hit into that shift. Now, he's really talented and really good, so he can make the correction there as well. Also, the Blue Jays also shifted more than other teams because their defense wasn't the best last year. So it's a mixture, but you also have Barrios on that list. Gossman's a ground ball pitcher, right?
I believe so with the splitter.
With the splitter, you would assume the numbers lean that way. So yeah, you do have like when there was a pitcher list put out a list of like top 10 pitchers that might be affected by the shift. They benefited from it, and 2 Blue Jays were on there. So something to watch for. I don't think it's gonna.
Nobody knows.
I think it's gonna take down Manoah. I think he's still gonna be pretty fucking good, but yeah, something of note.
They got some guys, if we're talking about depth, we have it on the bench. We have it in the prospect system as well. The prospect system?
The prospect system.
What is that, bro? What
idiots. Welcome to Talkin Baseball. We don't follow the game, but we're interested.
They have some prospects that are nearing the big leagues. We're already talking about a full lineup, a full bench, but the depth is nice to have at the upper minor leagues. We have a third base shortstop in Addison Barger. We have Hayden Younger. He's a right-handed pitcher, Spencer Horowitz, and that's not even talking about the 2 lefties that we were talking about, Tiedemann and Barreria. Tough one for me. Not in my book yet. He just got drafted, lefty. There's guys coming. I think I like the way the Blue Jays organization is set up right now. They have money to spend. They have a decent prospect list. They have guys that have control. I think they're going to be a team that we're talking about for years to come, like just in contention. And at least they have it set up that way now. We got to find a way to pay some of these guys long term and keep them there, but I think we will.
Hey, they always say they can pay them, and they have in recent years. They deserve credit for the Ryus and the George Springer and even
Gossman.
Bassett this year. Bassett would be a big signing. Bassman.
I like that combination.
Mattingly's with him, and he has never won a World Series. So he's excited. He's also working with Vladdy at first a lot this spring. So that's a good guy to learn from.
There you go.
We like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 kids that jump out for me are Tiedemann. He was throwing, I think there was like 24 pitches by lefties last year that were 99.5 miles per hour plus. He was hitting that in spring training. So when you have a live lefty arm like that, just interested to track, in this Blue Jays campaign. And Barger, dude, I watched him in one spring training game, but he's got the Brandon Drury effect. He kind of looks like it. He looks like a ball player.
Really good in his uniform.
Looks like a ball player. So,
just treat Chad right,
Yeah, when Chad Green comes back, take care of him.
Who's the guy that used to play third base for them? Wild card, dude. I think he was Canadian too.
Brett Laurie?
Yeah, dude.
Donaldson trade.
Yeah, he used to drink like 6 Red Bulls.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like big time.
Whoa.
I don't know why I just thought of him, but I did. All right, we got 91.
I like him dumping all 6 out into like a plastic Pizza Hut picture
and just doing it,
and then just drinking it from there as he walks around.
I think it was just like 1 crack on the head, 2 crack on the head. He was one of those guys. DraftKings over under.
What is it?
91.5. They've been right around that the last 2 seasons. This team looks good.
Hey,
sure. Good. Over.
That's easy for you, huh?
They won 92 last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you think they got better?
I like the completeness of the team better. I also think it's a bit of a pivot year where, hey, for 2 years, been talking shit thinking you were going to win, and you haven't won the division or advanced to the championship series. So I think you bring Mattingly in. They changed the manager halfway through the season last year. They shipped some of the crew out that was like, the dugout morale,
got rid of the jacket.
Got rid of the jacket.
Out.
Like, it's almost like, hey, wake up, guys.
Oh, can I just
play
say,
to your potential? So I think that it's going to work.
Don't get something else either. Leave the jacket, and then just don't do something else. Like
I think
every team needs that.
Let it happen.
Let it happen.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Let it happen.
Like if someone shits themselves.
If I see a mask day 1, I'm out.
Do a poop
I'm
celebration.
out.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Yanks we'll get to, but man, they got a lot going on right now. I want to do with you guys, we normally do this with teams. What's their ceiling and floor? Can they win the East?
Yes.
Yes. What's the lowest they can be in the AL East?
Third.
Oh, 4th. I think 4th. Yeah. There's a lot of good teams in this division, dude.
You think Red Sox could have a better
Red
season
Sox
than the Jays?
or the Orioles could
If
just
they
have
go?
a really good season. And yeah, I mean, if we have some injuries here, like I'm looking through the roster, and I think that, like I said, it's very complete, and they do have backup and depth.
Yeah, I think it's
There's still
between
potential
first
for some
and
collapse.
third. At fourth would either the Orioles would have to fully click or Red Sox magic, and it's tough to picture that. I'll go with the over. I'm big on Vlad this year. I'm buying a little MVP stock on Vlad just in case Ohtani gets traded to the NL, I guess.
First team to have a brawl.
You know what?
I think they're changing the tone.
Blue
there.
Jays the Blue Jays fans don't like us saying that because they said that they're not as feisty as we think they are.
They were on the front rail like all the time.
Yeah,
Maybe
they're
not
just-
like
that's
brawls, but like
It's like a lot of young testosterone coming out.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
High
What?
T.
IT
Yeah.
levels. And you bring Kiermaier over? As high
what did
T as it
Manoah
gets.
say? Told him to meet me at the Audi sign.
Maybe he
Remember
really
that?
did. Big boy.
If you really did.
Manoah
Cole
put
was
somebody
there.
in their place on Twitter not too long ago.
He's a troll. But I'm not saying that bad. He knows what he's doing. Like if there's ever a chance to shit on Garrett Cole, he takes it, which is pretty funny because you know it irks Cole. Like he's like, come on, man.
Like that.
Same with Vladdy. If like a little kid asks him, "Who do you like playing?" He's like, "The Yankees."
Oh,
They
he did say
stink."
that.
But that's good. You should do that.
He
That's
was
like in
playing
the
up to the
fun
crowd.
nature of like playing to the crowd and
yeah.
shit talking.
We all over?
Over, and now it's my turn.
Hit the under, kid. Rays are going to be better, right?
In my head right now, if I think about this team, I think they can win 96 games. That's a lot of games. I really, really like the Blue Jays. Like these guys are getting at bats under their belts. I know they're already putting up numbers, but like there's just another gear I think they can hit if they can improve defensively too. And you mentioned the bullpen, they upgraded there. My guy Barrios breakout year.
Rob
Kikuchi
Brantley,
breakout year.
Rob Brantley.
Rob Brantley, yeah. No, I'm going over. I don't want to be on that side, but I just can't see them.
Oh, Canada.
It's Toronto, people. There's no T in Toronto.
Toronto.
Everyone knows
Yeah,
that.
and there's no S in Arkansas.
eh?
Spell your names right then.
Good luck, Blue Jays.
Bow, bow, bow.